I'm Class 120. My name is Andrew Ray. Today, I would like to talk about the major problem that's happening in Ohio, which is the opiate epidemic crisis. Did you know back in 2015, 33,000 Americans died from an opiate overdose? Roughly, that's 91 people per day. Um, like I said in my introduction video, I do work at a methadone clinic. I do get to experience this firsthand, so I kind of see it every day. Not necessarily the overdoses, but I see addicts and people that are having problems get off drugs. So today I would like to talk about uh, Ohio, which is the fourth highest opiate overdose rate by population in the United States. Ohio is also the seventh largest population in the U.S., but the second highest number of overdose deaths besides California, which is the highest number. Now, in 2007, drug overdose has been the leading cause of injury-related deaths in Ohio, ahead of motor vehicle crashes. Now, the crisis in Ohio continues to get more complicated. What I mean by that is the number of opiate prescriptions being dispensed has significantly declined, and also the number of overdose deaths from prescription opiates have been declining since 2012. And that's a good thing because what a lot of it was happening is doctors were, for example, you get in a car crash, doctors prescribe you so many opiates. Let's say, for example, Percocets, prescribe you so many Percocets. You go home, take them as prescribed. You ended up stop taking them. Now you're having these withdrawal symptoms, and you're wondering what's happened. Some of these individuals have gone out on the street and just try to find that drug and take it to make them feel better. Now, what has been happening is counselors, social workers, and doctors have come together to, find a conclusion for this. So, pretty much what the counselors and social workers told doctors was, you need to have a detox instead of giving them this many milligrams, this many pills, and just take as prescribed. They're now prescribing them so many, but also decreasing the milligrams so they don't run into this issue of this individual having withdrawal symptoms. Now, this problem really has started back in the 90s with pill mills. It was really large in southern Ohio, and they pretty much died off within the 2000s. But mainly, these pill mills have generated the problem that has been happening in Ohio because this was able to spread out and get to individuals so individuals could start selling them. Now, what a lot of my clients have been doing, well, back in the day were doing was going down to Florida. Florida has a lot of pill mills, which they have stopped a lot of them and closed a lot of them down. But what they were doing was traveling down to Florida, and you could go down there with no medical records, no history of anything. Go down there and buy 100 Percocets and bring them back on up into Columbus or wherever, whichever city of Ohio, and start selling them. So that's another thing I would like to talk about is Interstate 70 and 71. They both run through Ohio and intersect in Columbus. 13 counties in Ohio are considered part of the Ohio Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Program. That means these counties are considered major drug trafficking zones, and the program's program work to reduce or eliminate drug trafficking and to enhance the drug control efforts of all levels of local law enforcement. Now that's actually quite amazing because you might see the state trooper sitting on 70 or 71 and wondering if they're going to pull you over or not because you're speeding, which they probably will. But what I mean by that is they're really not going for the person speeding. They're really wanting to get someone that is trafficking drugs. Because if you ever watch the news, you're always seeing 70 and 71 state troopers pulled someone over for speeding, and they also found pounds and pounds of marijuana, pounds and pounds of heroin, etc. Another major thing I would like to talk about is local law enforcement, uh, which I think is great and what they're starting to do, some agencies are starting to take partial of their funding instead of throwing these addicts in jail when they pull them over and find heroin in their car, filling up our jails or prisons. They are starting to use partial of their funding to send them to treatment and get them help, which I think is great. Now, in conclusion, I have talked about the opiate epidemic crisis and how it's impacting Ohio. Also, I talked about how doctors, counselors, social workers have come together to create uh, something for an individual so they're able to detox off this opiate that this doctor is prescribing. Also, I talked about how local law enforcement are starting to use partial of their funding to help individuals get off drugs instead of sending them to jail or prison or something, or etc. And also, I talked about one of the major factors of drug trafficking in the interstates, which is 70 and 71, and how those are major areas for drug trafficking. This concludes my speech. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you very much.